Can they see me? Hey, how you doing? So why does my mic feel like I can't hear myself?
Maybe because you have the music on so loud.
How about now? Is it better? Hey, how you doing? All right, I think this is good, right? Let me see. It's a little better, I guess. Yeah. All right, guys, so I lost my voice yesterday at the shindig. I was having such a good time. All right, so if you don't know me, I am Mr. Poseidon. How you doing? What's up, honey? What do you need? No, that's me. This is you right here. My wife's earphones are too loud, so...
You gotta complain about something.
Excuse me, 32 years later. But anyway. All right. Welcome to the show tonight. To the live stream, I like to say better. I'm Mr. Poseidon. My lovely wife. How you doing, honey?
Hi, people.
I love you.
Did everybody like the little pre-show where we had the test going on?
Yeah, we had the test going on, and we were actually live. And we didn't know it. And we were talking away. These people suck, and that guy's a douche, you know?
Yeah, right.
No, nothing like that. Thank God we don't know anything. We do that sometimes.
Thanks to Delco Joe.
Yeah, Delco Joe.
He was
got
kind
on.
enough.
He was kind enough. There were people listening. They're like, I'm not calling him. God, say something about me. So there we are. Delco Joe calls us and is like, listen, be honest with you, my girlfriend. She actually said, let's just wait till they say something bad, then we'll call them. Gotta love it. Friends, what they're for, baby. We love you all, man. We have nothing bad to say. Terrific every Sunday night, 7 p.m. every week. Mr. Poseidon and his lovely wife. Hey. And we got a guest on this week. That's right. We got Roy Leyva. Leyva. There you go. I had to wait for my wife so I could pronounce it the right way. My throat is like, right, it's gone.
Aww.
But anyway, so we're here tonight. Honey, how was the week this week? This week wasn't that bad, right?
It wasn't that bad. We went
It
to
was so
see
bad,
the,
guys. You don't know.
The shindig yesterday. We got to see a bunch of friends.
The shindig was great. Bill Wetzel, Surf Rats Ball Tournament, countrywide. This guy's great. You did a great job, Bill. If you can hear me out there. He always runs a great show every year. The prizes, right, honey?
The never-ending raffle.
The never-ending
who's
raffle.
out there. David Matthews.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to let you guys
name.
know. We heard that name yesterday 10 times. It was like, and the next prize winner is David Matthews. And the next prize winner is David Matthews. And it was like, holy smokes. Dave, he won double prize at the Montauk. Because of him, we had to change the rules. Isn't it always the best that make you change the rules? David, thank you so much for supporting me. You're a good guy. Loved you yesterday. Great conversation. You're the champ, man. If the raffles were a YouTube thing, you would be that guy who's fighting Mike Tyson. What's his name again? Oh, he's a big YouTube phenom. But he's fighting Mike Tyson. You have a napkin, honey? No. Better go get me one. So anyway, today we got Mr. Roy Leyva on. That's Off the Hook Fishing. This guy's fished all over the world. Worked for Shimano. Still, I think he's a pro for them. Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. It's perfect. This is your underwear. Look, now I got a smudge on the desk. All right, I'm only kidding. So we got Roy on today. It's going to be exciting because the guy's got good stories, good fisherman. This guy knows what he's doing. Many years in the business. I met him on the New England show a couple of years back. I had him and Al Gag on live while I was doing the show. Remember that, hon? Great guys. But I think we're going to hear a lot better today since Roy is alone and he feels unchallenged and ready to blossom on that storytelling today. But anyway, let's say hello to a couple of people before we get to Roy. Paid a lot of money to get Roy on, guys. Got to get all my money's worth tonight. So here we go. We got Tom Hood. Outcast, how you doing, buddy? It's been very slow for me, Outcast. Work. Just getting back to work. Losing 23 weeks. Totally killed me, man. But it's all right. I'll get out there again this summer, at least for a few nights. I'll be in Maine in 2 weeks. I'm going to meet my man Brian up there and do some fishing. Can't wait for that. Bronx Surfcaster, thank you so much. He's my moderator. Wonderful cat. I think he's like my, not I think, he's like my 16th subscriber.
Ever.
He was the first guy to message me and ask me a question on waiter booths. I was running around. I'm like, hey, honey, some guy asked me a question. She says, well, what was it? I was like, yeah, it's about my waiter boots, the size. She says, what'd you tell him? I said, I don't know. I told him the truth. Not no pro, man. I'm like you guys, man. I go out there. Look, I'm a little modest. My wife will always tell me, oh, you're so modest. Because when we go out shopping for stuff together and she's with me, she sees all the questions I ask. She goes, you should do that more on your live stream. I'm like, then it's going to be boring. It's going to be like this. Ready? Live stream with Mr. Poseidon. Take one. Hi, I'm Mr. Poseidon. And I like fishing. Fishing is very good. It's beautiful. And I catch fish. Last week I caught 49 snappers. It's wonderful. I caught them all on little bread balls. My father taught me like that. We didn't catch much then, but I'm Mr. Poseidon.
That's terrible.
This is hard. Let's get back to the show right now. No more joking, all right? Hey, how you doing? Let's get on to some real stuff here. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mr. Poseidon. So we're going to be talking
Hood
fishing. Yeah, where's Tom Hood? I love Tom
Saying
Hood.
nice hat. That was one of your
Yes.
drawing winners yesterday.
Yesterday, I won this. Check it out.
Super strike. Couple things.
So yesterday, I won 2 prizes. One was a double whammy. This guy's going to be in your boxes, bros. North Bar. This is what you're going to get in it. This guy, best guy. Hey, how you doing? And then you got Super Strike. But the difference in this Super Strike is there's a tag up here. I love how he's detailed, Steve, and all that. And it says up here, 2024 Surf Rats Ball, Zigzag Darter, Pink Purple Mackerel, 2 3/8 of an ounce. You gotta love it. And here's where the kicker is. Ready? To make it official, if you pull it out of the package and you lose it, don't worry about it. Let's get on the overhead for this one, honey. Gotta show them on the overhead. Look right there. SRB, there it is. SRB 2024.
Nice.
They threw such a function. Let me tell you, Jeff the Chef Caputo. The food. I don't eat much at barbecues. I got 2 giant plates, the sweet corn. Oh my God. I was picking at the little white ones. They're a little sweeter than the yellow ones. I was just eating that. Let me tell you. The ribs. How about those ribs, honey?
Oh my God.
There's a gentleman cooking there. I forgot your name. I'm sorry. The only one I know who's cooking, there are like 10 Jeff Caputos there. And I said to him, I said, yo, can I get that corner piece? I like the end of the ribs, the end piece. Those little ones, there's just something about them. So he says, I'll tell you what, you look hungry, have both pieces. I was so happy. So happy. Got a burger. They had hot dog sausage. I ate so much yesterday, I'm not hungry yet.
So much that we haven't even eaten today.
I'm telling you. And I didn't realize that till right now. God, I can't wait till after the show. But anyway, going back to the shindig was a wonderful time. Again, the prizes, all you did was buy raffles to enter. You needed to buy at least $10 of raffles. Come on. And everything is going to kidsneedmore.org. Everything went to them, all the proceeds. And it was a great time because you're dealing with people that love to do what you love to do. And it was great, man. Everybody's talking fishing rods, what they're winning. That was great. Bill, you run a fantastic function, and it isn't really about you. It's Kids Need More. God bless you. God bless your family. You ran a great, great function yesterday. Thank you so much, Bill. Thank you. Okay, honey, and if you want to know, Bill Wetzel, best surf guide in Long Island. When I say Montauk, the best, the king. You need a surf guide. Look, there's a lot of you guys that fish like me. I would go down to, Falls Bar. I go to the Point, and I go to Turtle Cove. That's where my fishing was. for the first 5 years there. And then I said, you know what? I heard about Bill Wetzel. I saw him once. He looked at me, I looked at him, nothing. Just went along with his surf guide. But that was the first time I met him. So watched his videos on YouTube religiously. And I finally went out and I got him. You'll see that video that I put up with Bill. Great guy. It was wonderful. He enlightened my times in Montauk 10 times fold. I learned so many new spots. And listen to me, you boneheads. When I say he, brought me to so many new spots, it doesn't mean that there's going to be fish there. They're just different spots. So this way, when you're not catching a spot in one fish, go to the other spot. You're not catching one there, go. So having him teach me all these spots, and he teaches you how to fish them, high tide, low tide, full moon, no moon, new moon. I'm telling you guys, there couldn't be anything better, because then when you go back, you feel like a star. I remember when I went out with him, I'm like, dude, I didn't go to any of the point. I didn't go to False Bar. I went to all the spots he taught me. One was you got to sneak in the backyard. You got to carry a knife with you over there. No, I'm kidding. No sneaking in backyards. Everything is legal. Just follow the laws there. Don't be, don't be like, I don't want to say like a bad thing about you guys because you're so good to me. So I don't want to say, I consider all you guys my kids, right, honey? Where you going? Why are you leaving? Did I say something wrong? Okay, cool. So going back, man, guys, it's been great. Brian Hamlin, I'll see you in Maine. We were looking at the hotels tonight. We got one. It's not the best. It's called Brian's Hotel. So Brian's going to let me sleep on the floor in his bedroom while he's on vacation there with the family. Thank you, Brian.
No.
I love you. Cheers. David Matthews. The Striper Hunt, there he is. I love how you follow me in the other channels, bro. I love that about you. You're the best. D-Bar, there he is, honey. Let's talk about D-Bar for a minute. No, we don't, because we got Roy waiting on the sidelines for a half hour. Sit down and let's start the show. D-Bar, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming again. And Tigerizer Laws, he's going to be in 1 out of every 2 bonus boxes. There's already 48 sold, whatever it is. Get on them because you're going to lose out. Right now, let's head on over to Roy. Here we go. And thank you for that Striper Hunt. Let's go over to Roy, honey.
Hey, hey, Roy, how you doing?
What's up? How's it going?
Roy, listen to that applause for you, buddy. Jesus Christ. I knew this was going to happen. How are you,
when I was
buddy?
born.
That's right. It's a beautiful thing, baby. So, Roy, I finally got you on the show. I met you a few years back up at the New England show. You were on then live. Had a little technical difficulties. It worked out, though. We got you on. The sound was a little low, my end, though. But anyhow, so I'm glad I got you. Yeah. What was that?
I said it's all good.
It's all good, buddy. Cheers to that, my friend. Pineapples to the Roy, man. So, guys, if you don't know Roy, I follow him on Instagram. Roy, I gotta let you know that turkey outfit, beautiful, bro. I saw that. I couldn't stop laughing. He put on the turkey outfit and he was hopping around in the forest, and I'm like, yo, is that Roy? Yeah, it was Roy. Off the hook fishing, bros. This guy catches fish.
That was my guide.
Go ahead, say that again. What?
I said that was my guide.
That was your guide. I believe
was
it,
my
man.
guide.
I love it. I got to get a turkey, too, as my guide so I can rip him off. You know what I mean? But anyway, no, I'm kidding. So I want to get into that more. Roy, you are the man when it comes to fishing. All I heard when I was at the show was, you got to get Roy on your show. And I was like, who's Roy? I know a lot of Roys, but who's Roy? They pointed you out. I saw you walking around. You were hanging out with Al Gag. I knew Al Gag, a little bit. So I got in there with you, and I got you to be on the show with him. You were very nice then. Now I got you alone, bro. So we're going to go through this tonight. We're going to go from the color of the underwear you wore when you were 4 years old all the way to the turkey's underwear, what he's wearing today. But, Roy, you're the man. Welcome to the show, bro. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, Roy. So, honey.
What's the latest?
What's the latest, Roy, as far as fishing and everything?
I'm just I don't know, doing a little freshwater out here in Western Mass. It's a 2.5 hour drive to the ocean now, so I pick my battles.
And and
So
and
yeah, enjoying it. I mean, I just love fishing. I don't care what I fish for. So
I have to say that you're fishing. Talk to me a little bit about, before I ask you how this got started. I don't want to make it boring for anybody, and not that you're boring. It's just every week is pretty much the same thing when I got a new guest. So I want to ask you, what about the micro fishing, bro? What's that all about? Because I want to know about that.
so I'm a big species nut. Like I so this started a long time ago. I feel like in order for you to better yourself as an angler, you need to know the water you're fishing. And that just not doesn't just mean the fish that you're pursuing, but everything else that it feeds on, everything that lives around it, all of it, the whole entire ecosystem.
I have to interrupt
So I
you.
got
Charlie the
heavily-
Wolf of Rhode Island used to say that all the time. I had him on my show, and that's the number one thing I preach. Back to you, buddy.
Yeah, so I started to dissect ecosystems, and I just became this big species nut trying to figure out, what was there and in cross sections where certain bait fish cross the path of an apex predator, being striped bass or, flounder or whatever it is. And that kind of got me into the microfishing because all these little tiny fish don't grow very big, some of them, and microfishing really relates to anything that doesn't get to be a pound. So in adult size, that fish is never going to be a pound. And you just go out with these tiny little hooks. It's, Japanese style, and you fish for all these little like needle in a haystack kind of a deal. So it's kind of more of the hunt than anything.
I got to ask you something, Roy. Let me tell you. So when people were coming up to me at the show, they were like, yo, that dude's crazy and fishing. And I was like, well, I didn't know who you was. So I remember when I introduced our gag. And when you came in, the perception I had of you, I was dealing with somebody, who was carrying knives, guns with him. At least that's the rumors that were floating around. But you came in and you were such a gentleman. I remember you sat down. We did the interview. I had such a good time with you guys. And you're very funny. You do have a comedic sense in you. Am I right about that?
Thanks. I'd like to think so.
Yeah, definitely. Creative, very creative. So, again, we were talking about the micro species. Maybe one day I'd like to try that because I guess you're using very, very light tackle for that. Can you tell me a setup on something like that?
Yeah, so there's a vast difference. I mean, you don't really need to go crazy. I have evolved from just using a regular, freshwater rod or whatever I had, or even a stick, to the point where I've gotten into some of the microfishing rods. And they're basically little tiny telescopic rods. I mean, they come in all sizes. I have one that I use a lot that packs up to 11 inches. It opens up to 31 inches. And I mean, that little tiny rod will catch 8-9 inch trout. It's kind of wild, the power behind it, but they're perfect for, getting up, because most of the microfishing you're doing almost at your feet, because you're targeting all these little fish that are in the rocks or in vegetation, depending on the species, or different parts of rivers or so on, or the ocean, and you're just kind of up above them, kind of dropping down on them and trying to hook them. So,
Definitely.
that's
dude.
what it is.
So I'm going to put up a little clip right now. Honey, can we get up that clip when he's on the ice?
Okay, hold on.
Yeah, we got that working, by the way. No sound on it, but I'm very satisfied with what they can see. And I think this is pretty cool because I see you on the ice a lot, brother. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
I love ice fishing. I just love it. I absolutely love it.
What is
It's
it? What is it about that you love it? Tell us, because I'm even curious.
it's not that it's easy. One, it's if you're a trophy hunter,
Right.
it is the best time to go out and fish for trophy fish, because depending on the state you're in, they allow so many tip ups or tilts, whatever you want to call them, to be baited at once. So you're covering a lot of water. On top of that, when you're in a boat and you got to battle wind and current and everything else, you can't get on top of structure like you can do when you can walk on top of it, drill a hole, and drop something right on it. So it's good in that sense, you know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's just one of those things, you know. You go out there and you spend the whole day out on the ice, and you get work on your tan, believe it or not, and you catch some really big fish, or you go out and catch a bunch of small panfish. But either way, it's just a blast to fish through this tiny little hole and pull something up through it. You know? It's just it.
Did you get it up, honey?
I can't. It's not coming up.
Why?
Go ahead.
All right, I'll go ahead. She wants us to go ahead, so we'll go ahead. We're trying to pull up that little video of it, but why isn't it doing it, honey? I'll help you. Will it do the other ones? None of them?
I'm trying to see if I can pull this up. Maybe just straight. No.
Yeah,
It's
just
not
do
coming
straight
up.
then. That's it. That'll be great.
It's
All right,
not
so
coming up.
it's all right. No big deal. So when you're going out for these freshwater fish, what are you predominantly fishing on to go get these fish? Lakes, obviously, where you're going for the micros in the ponds? I don't know.
Everything, man, and anywhere
Everything.
there's water, it literally, if I drive by a puddle, I will stop and look at it, and if it looks fishy, I am going to fish it. Doesn't matter what
Nice.
I'm going to get out of it, but I'm
Nice.
going to fish it.
That's good. So I believe when you're telling me that you're a species hunter, and how many species do you have under your belt right now? Do you know?
I'm over 500 right now.
Are
in
you
the
kidding me,
US.
bro? 500?
No,
I would
which
have
is,
guessed
which
that
is really
too.
not a lot.
Wow. When you say not a lot,
sounds like
tell
a
me
lot,
about
but I
it.
mean,
Give me
there's
some
guys out
detail.
there-
Give me some detail on what do you mean by not a lot. How many species are there out there? I mean, I know there's a lot, but
mean,
in the U.S.
Yeah,
here,
I
where you
mean-
have a chance.
Over 2,000 at least.
Wow. So you got
I mean,
a quarter of it.
Yeah, but there's a lot of guys out there that, you know, half or more than half, you know. It's hard without a bankroll. I mean,
Yeah,
you got to do
right.
a lot of traveling,
Absolutely.
a lot of fishing,
You got it.
and all of that. So, you know, I'm fine with 500.
Yeah, I hear that. No doubt, brother. Please. I would have guessed somewhere in my head going, I'm like, all right, 150, 200, bro. Now I get it. Off the hook fishing. Please follow him on Instagram. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And let's not forget, follow me. And most importantly, guys, if you want, please subscribe to my channel, become a member. You get to see the videos first. You get to give me ideas, which I will use because I am Mr. Poseidon. And remember, the Montauk Striper Challenge happening the 17th, 18th, and 19th this year. It's going to be the biggest of all, the most money of all. When I tell you over $35,000 total, where do I get it from? Just make sure you're there and you'll see where I get it from. It could be in your hands.
Thank you, Luke Fishing.
Luke
in New
Fishing, always a
Jersey.
challenge to get money from people. Hard, but I love you guys. You guys have been great to me. All of you, Luke, basically on a weekly basis, bro. I can't say anything bad about you. You've always been good to me. Another guy who loves the fresh water out there. He was supposed to go out today, a little crowded. He's going to go out in a week. They make it easier on himself. Guys,
Oh,
also,
here's the ice fishing. I got
yeah,
it.
there you go. Show me. Show me.
Lay.
So what's going on here, buddy? Tell me.
I'm drilling holes. That's
That's good. There you go. There you go. You got that.
little hole.
You got that right.
actually so that's what happens is a lot of times when you either get rain or you get a lot of snow and it starts to melt late in the season,
Yeah.
it puddles up and you drill a hole and it just becomes like a toilet bowl. It just sucks all the water back down
Wow.
in it. It's a pretty cool thing.
That's what I watched. I watched the whole
Fishing
thing.
those holes.
Yeah, I was gonna say I watched the whole thing and I watched it go down eventually like a toilet bowl almost. Pretty cool if
Yeah,
you got to
it's
do number
rained
2 and
on.
there's nobody around.
Oh, my
Perfect.
God.
Right?
So okay, so let's.
Oh, Edwin
Yeah.
Rivera. Ask Roy, what are his favorite metal lips to throw in the canal? And what part of the tide does he like to throw metal lips the most?
Yeah, he's going in 2 weeks. That's why he's asking, just to let you know.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm a
Favorite.
big cowboy guy, man. I love throwing cowboys. I love big plugs, big metal lips, GRS, anything
Wow.
monstrous like that. And I like to pick, you know, I throw them any time of the tide, except when it's cranking really, really hard, especially the moon tides, you know. Usually on the slower side of it is always the best, especially as long as you can keep that plug on top and you're fishing kind of 45 degrees in that rip line, it's killer. But yeah, I mean, you can fish them the entire tide, especially at night. And fall is best. Fall's always been best for me.
All right. We're all good on that. Sorry about that. Go ahead, honey. You were going to say?
No, I'm just trying to watch here in the chat.
We were fighting with the mics down, but it's okay. Sorry.
I see.
Yeah.
Will Walker is saying, put the Eventbrite link up on Insta soon.
Oh, there you go.
Okay, yes.
put
And
it
we
up.
also have it in the description box of this live stream.
Yeah,
Every live stream. Every week, I have the link there.
I got to tell you, Roy, it's off the hook this year, my event. We went from 3 prizes to 10 prizes. 5,000 first, 25 second, 1,000 third, 500 and 500 for fourth and fifth. Sixth and seventh are 300 and 200. And then you drop down to 8, 9, and 10, which are 100 a pop. Longest competition, longest and most accurate cast. We have that all set up with flutter flags, 8 feet and 10 feet high, 25, 50, 75, 100. We're adding 125s and 150 10-footers this year for the longest yard competition. This year we have bullseyes on tarps. We drew them in circles. It's going to be wonderful, and that's $1,000 to each of those. Guys, imagine you'll go to competitions and you win 1,000. These are only for the next day, which is the longest and most accurate cast. And then finally, Roy, we do the party at Shagwan that night. Everybody's there. We got 5,000 prizes, including 2 more van stalls that are the X2 series in the 200 or 250 series there. Also, we're giving out the bonus boxes. I know you've heard. 1 van stall there. In the next set of 100, another van stall as an 8-inch plier. I'm sorry to do this on your shift. I had to tell everybody, or they don't listen to me. But
Luke Fishing, New Jersey.
That's
says,
awesome, though. That sounds like a great time to me.
it's going to be a wonderful time, Roy, definitely. And if you want,
That's great.
to all the guys and ladies like yourself, you can bring your fiancé. We're doing the treasure hunt for the ladies. There'll be a different section every day. And in the end, they're going to win a nice $500 Sephora card. I think that's perfect. But
That's pretty cool.
and we're going to make it exciting for the men. Why? And how do I do that? That woman that
Not like
wins
there's not enough.
gets 1 lure with that. So at least the husband's excited that she won because let me see the lure you won. Give me that. So everybody's happy.
I don't know. I want some of that nail polish for my plugs.
There you go. See, there you go. Roy's got the answers.
Oh, ask Roy his favorite BFS microfishing companies for rods and reels that he likes to use.
So I'm a Shimano guy. I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm fishing Shimano BFS. I've never had anywhere to go. I mean, technically, if you want to get into some of the more technical Japan stuff, you'd have to obviously go to the JDM overseas Japan stuff that they don't sell in the U.S. But I'm a Shimano guy my whole life, so that's where I stand.
There you go, buddy. And
Excellent.
when you work for a company or you become part of their pro staff, you better like that product. You shouldn't be doing it just because you're doing it just to get ahead or whatever reason you're doing it. So, yeah, I believe you, man. I believe in Shimano also. Great products. And I have my Stella, which I love very much.
Well, that's me. I mean, I still wear my Aqua Skins top. I still fish Al Gags, lures, even though I'm not affiliated with any of those companies anymore. I was at once, and that's how I stay true to myself. Is if I wear a patch on my shirt, and then 2 weeks later I wear another patch, and I'm telling you now it's the best, then I mean, who's gonna believe me, right? And what happened to the best
Right.
2 weeks ago? So
Right.
I'm in it. I'm in it to the end. I'm not here to make a name for myself or make money out of it. Just do what I love, man. What we all love, enjoy it and fish and live my life.
Without a doubt. You said that beautifully. Also, I want to say Bill Jacob, Montauk Surfcasters Association. That's the president. No problem, Bill. I get it. We're all a little busy. I'll talk to you real soon. Bill Jacobs, ladies and gentlemen, runs a wonderful club over there. He does everything possible for them. He also has the Surf Masters competition, which are run in June, and another one coming up a couple of weeks before my tournament. If you're lucky enough, if you're part of the club there, which is becoming a member at the Montauk Surfcast Association, I suggest you do it. It's one of the, it's one of the better ones, I would say. I'm part of that place. You get your own license plate. Got to pay for these things. These things are expensive. Can't expect the club to go and buy you everything. It's like I hear people calling Bill, listen, my mortgage is due. Stop. It's a club. Let's have some fun together. But check it out. Pretty cool. Also, I want to say hello to Weekend Warrior Surfcaster. What's up, buddy? It's been a while. We went out to the canal 2 years ago. Last year I was hurt. Everybody knows. But we had a great time. Let's go back now to Mr. Roy Leyva. Roy, I want to get more into now. Sir. I want you to put up that picture of the striper that he's fishing for. I think that's at the canal. So I want you to put that up, honey. Okay. There you go.
This one?
Yep, that one right there. I want you to play that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool, Roy. You got a nice size striper there. That was at the canal?
Yeah. Yeah. Over by
Wait, put Roy's volume back up.
Yeah, but we got to stop the video
got
if you want that. But he's going to release it now there. There you go.
Nice.
But that was a nice picture, a nice video. It was a lot longer. I had to shorten it just for now. But I know that fish came out of the water on you, and you had that on video there also.
What were you saying, Roy? Because they didn't hear you.
No, I was saying that was the canal down by the Heron Run, early season, probably May. I can tell because I'm throwing that blue wax swing, so a lot of heron around. But yeah, I remember that day perfect. Big blitzes. It was a fun time. That was before the crowds.
Yeah. Okay, so we got something coming in. You want to read that off to Roy, honey?
Roy, we have Dervish Churi. Thank you for that super chat. He says, been a fan of Roy, bought the first gem Tiralejo, come up here in Canada for but thoroughly ice. Mr. Poseidon, love from Canada. Please try a Tenkara.
Nice. There you go.
Awesome.
Awesome guy. Yeah, a lot of Yep, no doubt about it. So Roy, that fish now, the stripers. Have you been a big, all of us here, most of us guys here and ladies are big striped bass hunters. Can you tell me a little bit about your career in striped bass hunting? Because it is a big Northeast fish here.
It is. I mean, obviously, me growing up, when I was too young to stand on the rocks, there was bass around. And then when I got about to the age of, say, about 8 or 9, I'm going to be 52 next month. So when I got to the age of 8 or 9, they were pretty much gone. So I kind of grew up, with the whole span of not having them, but having all the stories and all the people to look up to, all the bigwig Stan Gibbs and all those guys, Al Gags, all them guys that I grew up in and around Cape Cod and so on, because we used to fish Cape Cod a lot, including my godfather, who's a legend on the Cape.
Who's your godfather?
And I don't know, I just found this. I fell in love not with just the fish, but the lifestyle.
Right.
And it was a commercial lifestyle back then. Guys drew on the beach.
That's correct.
Made a living out of it,
Yep.
And my parents ate fish, and I kind of started that way. And the more I got involved, because they came in the 90s, they came back, right? So in the 90s, we had this influx of striped bass. All of a sudden, they were there.
Yep.
And there were these beautiful fish. I was like, I don't know, I was just graduated high school, so I was like 17 years old when I caught my first one. And it happened to be like a 33-pound fish.
Wow, dude.
On the live herring.
What a beauty.
And it evolved from there. I fell in love with it, and then I just wanted to protect it. You know what I mean? And at some point, I stopped eating fish, and it all became catch and release for me. And I gave away the rod and reel commercial license and so on, and became a big advocate of preserving the fishery rather than doing what we're doing to it. So
yeah, that's a big thing today, Roy. Yes, I do know, brother. Preserving the industry, it all starts from us. There's a lot of fishermen out there. Also, you got to add in all the boat fishermen, not counting the commercial fishermen. We take in a lot of fish. I think most of us have enough sense that we understand what's going on, and we get to catch and release them. I'm very happy with that. But thank God for pictures. Maybe we might have been keeping more fish today. But that's what the pictures are there for. You're in the water, pull it out of the water as quick as you can, whether you're on the sand, whatever you're doing, as quick as you can. Because remember, imagine running a 100-yard sprint. Even if you're not in shape, just do it. Run it. And at the end of that 100-yard strip, you can't breathe anymore. You're going like this, but you're not getting oxygen. Just think of it like that. And remember, get that fish back in as quick as you can. You'll save, because a lot of people will say, Roy, I don't know how true this is, and I don't know how you feel about it, but I'm going to tell you. A lot of people feel that you put the fish back in, not you, but all of us. And if you had it out of the water a little while, it might swim away, but later up it's going to show up dead somewhere. Do you believe in that?
I don't know. Fish are very resilient.
Right.
I mean, I've caught them with missing gills. I've caught them with missing half a face. I've caught them with missing a tail.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, fish are very resilient, and I'm an advocate for what I feel is right. Right. I mean, I can only do what I think is right, and take every step in doing that. Right. But I preach it because maybe somebody else wants to follow along. I have no problem with people keeping fish or cooking fish. My problem is the regulations and restrictions are just all over the place. And striped bass has such a price on it that it's always going to fight this battle that it's fighting right now, because it's worth something.
Yes.
If it wasn't worth anything, it's not even the greatest tasting fish in the world. I mean, it's pretty bland.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I loaded up with garlic and butter. So you're right about that.
Yeah. It has a price tag on it, and as long as it has a price tag on it, it's going to continue to be that. And that is awesome, because that's good for our economy. It's good for restaurants and tourists and all of it, right? You need it all. And, people scream, make it a game fish, make it a game fish. But for me, that's the worst thing you could do, because then once you lose something, you're never giving it back. You're never getting it back. So who wants that to be a game fish? Think about it. Any association that doesn't want us to fish or keep fish or target fish wants us to make it a game fish, because then it's gone. It's off our hands. So you just have to regulate it all. You have to let the commercial guys do their thing. You got to let the recreational guy do their thing. Let the restaurants and everyone else is happy,
That's right.
But it's just mismanaged. That's the only thing. That's how I feel about it.
Yeah, it is mismanaged, and that comes from people that don't know what the bleep they're doing, and they're just doing what they're doing because they need this more than that, and they're paying more than that. It all comes down to that damn money. Bro, we were talking something similar earlier. I'm not getting into that, but go ahead, tell me.
No, I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, I know when I was younger and I had a commercial license, that's what it was. I got to drive an hour to go fish for these fish. I'm going to pay for the gas if I keep a few and sell them. You know what I mean? That's the way I looked at it.
Right.
Until I felt like they had more than just the price value on them. I truly think that there is no other fishery anywhere in the world like it. Right? Striped bass do this massive migration. I mean, they go all the way to Florida, really. But let's say the Carolinas, all the way to Maine, Canada. Yeah. I mean, it's just this massive migration of fish.
Isn't that massive?
And they're not as hard as we think they are to catch, right? I mean, they're in the mood. You throw a plug at them, they're all going to follow it, right? And they play, catch up to it. So it's just this fishery. Nowhere in the world, except for when that migration happens, do you see a fishery that lasts that long as far as seasons. You know what I mean? We get these fish from April until November, December sometimes.
Absolutely.
What fishery has a migration that's that long that big, that expansive, with a fish that's willing to play. I mean, they play and they play hard, and they're fun to catch, and fun to see. So yeah, I mean, to me, I think everyone should have a shot at that and enjoy it, you know. But I think that, you know, as advocates, I mean, we put it out there, right? Like, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what you're not supposed to do. And I think the more you say it and the more people see it, then it evolves into something. You can't bash people because they let it roll on the sand. Yeah, that's not what you do. And you say to somebody, hey, you know, if you're going to let that fish go, maybe you shouldn't let it roll in the sand, because that's going to take off the mucus and everything, and susceptible to infection or whatever, you know. And you can't beat them up for that, because not everybody knows. I didn't know when I started, you know what I mean? Somebody taught me, or I learned it on the way. So yeah, I mean, that's just how I look at it. You know, you look at freshwater bass fishery back in the 80s, people kept them. Every bass was kept. And now there's, you know, it's the biggest fishery there is in the world, is largemouth bass fishing, or bass fishing. And it's got such a huge catch and release, you know, etiquette, to the point where it's bad for the fishery.
Yep. I see here Carlos P. He's saying Roy is talking facts 100%. So there you go. I mean, people know you, Roy. I know you're a good fisherman. Just talking to you here on the show, because what people are hearing for the first time, I'm hearing for the first time, which is a pretty good thing. It keeps me occupied to the screen. I'm actually interested. So, Roy, I want to get more to, let's see those pictures again, honey. I'll tell you which ones I want to go up. So we talked about that stripe on migration. Bro, there isn't anything bigger. A couple of years ago during COVID, I was 1 week on, 1 week off. So the week off, I hunted the fish. The only state I haven't fished for the stripers in New Hampshire. I caught one fish in Maine. I'm hoping to catch a couple of more this time. I hunted them so hard. I was by myself until I realized I was in the middle of a forest getting to the spot. And then I said, my God, there could be a bear. This is summertime right now. They're not sleeping. And just scared the kavitches out of me. I ended up meeting one of the guys that worked in Saco Tackle, I think is up there. And he met me. So I said to myself, you know, it's always like, okay, so if you get eaten, you got somebody else who's also going to get eaten. So don't worry about it. It's all good. So we had a nice time.
He's got to run faster than the other person.
Yeah, right. There you go. That's everybody. If you know bears, you're 100% right.
We're looking at the pictures, but before that, people keep asking, Roy, who is your fishing godfather?
Yeah,
who's your godfather? Who's your godfather?
His name's Raphael Leyva. He owned a barber shop. He's retired now. Retired last year, up in Wellfleet. He's very well known on the beaches out there by the locals. He's just one of those guys. He was a big mentor for me. Just one of those guys that, those people that go out and they always catch. It's just his mind's always thinking. He's always thinking outside the box and always asking why. And I think that's very important for anglers, is to always ask why. So he's that guy.
The problem is, if you ask him why, he's going to look and go, shut up, I'm fishing.
Yeah, or I'm not telling you.
There you go. There you go, buddy. So we got a picture of you. Looks like you're on one of those, can I call them flatboats almost? That's a kayak?
That's a kayak.
No
that's
kidding.
A kayak.
So it looks like a flatboat on top, completely flat, with the rails that you hold on to or lean into when you're fishing. I think that's pretty cool.
So the back of that kayak opens up.
Okay.
To a Y. It looks like a Y when it's open. It closes in. It looks like a regular kayak, and then the back of it is split and it swings out, and it becomes like a Y. So it's stable, so you can stand up and lean against that front pole to cast. So I mean, they were pretty stable unless a boat came by. I went off of it a few times.
Wow.
But they tracked hard. I don't think they make them anymore.
Wow.
But that was my first kayak before I went and got a Hobie.
Gotcha. So the fish
that was
there.
Time. That's got to be like 2010, maybe 2011.
Right.
Doing some sea bass fishing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Looks like some sea bass up there. Good stuff. Good eating fish. I think they are. I got another one up here of you. Freshwater fishing, largemouth bass. What's up with that? Tell me a little bit about that.
So this is actually that right there is a swim bait. And it's become a big craze now across the U.S. And it's just, this mentality of big bait for big fish. I was one of the first guys in Massachusetts to throw those big baits out of California. I mean, anybody who largemouth bass fish, you're a multi-millionaire overnight if you were ever to break the world record or close to it. I mean, you're going to make a lot of money. I don't know about a multi-millionaire, but you're going to make a lot of money. So a lot of people, California has these really deep lakes that get stocked with trout, and the bass would grow immensely and feed on the trout. And, you know, the same thing happens up in Massachusetts, happens everywhere.
Right.
And I, you know, started to play with that. That's back in, yeah, picture was from 2002 or 2003. And that was, it was like an 8-pound, 6-ounce largemouth bass that I got in one of the trout ponds on Cape Cod.
Nice.
Very cool, man. Those
So, yeah.
places, all those places up there in New England, I have to tell you, I'm going to be up there in the Cape, what's it, Cape Ann, is it, honey? Or, no. We were talking about it earlier.
Where?
Up in, with Brian.
Oh, Cape Elizabeth?
Yeah, that's it, Cape Elizabeth up there. Great areas to fishing up there. Got a lot of, you know, drops over there.
A lot of rock.
Yeah, beautiful stuff which stripers love very much. Structure fish. So I'm looking forward to that. So I got a picture up here now. Now we're going to go a little bit
Nice Jeep.
off of the fishing, but
Thank
you're
you.
up here. You're leaning on your willy there. Tell me about this journey that you were telling me about, that you started with the Jeep and what happened. Tell me.
Well, I have that problem where I'm always leaning on my willies. But so the Jeep I had before this, I actually had when I got divorced. And my ex-wife, I remember, she was like, you know, where are you going to go move to? And I looked at her and I was like, you know what? I mean, I was working on the road.
Right.
I was like, I'm just gonna live out of my Jeep. I don't know, until I'm tired of it. And it was probably the best year and a half, 2 years of my life.
Wow.
Was to, you know, at the time I was working for Shimano, so I was traveling the country as a Shimano Experience team member. We were shadowing the Bassmaster Elite Series and popping into some of their biggest accounts, taking them fishing. You know, we have a truck and boat. Every year I saw both borders and both coasts. And I would fly back. I would pick up my Jeep at the airport. I'd drive to my storage unit, grab the stuff that I would fish for the next few days that I was off. And, you know, I'd go and fish until I got tired. And then I'd pull up to a palm tree somewhere and tie a hammock on one side of the palm tree and a hammock to the other side of the Jeep and spend the night, you know, a couple hours and then get back to fishing until I had to be at work.
It's a
whenever that
beautiful
was.
thing. Beautiful thing, buddy. We all did that. I remember rushing into work. I remember calling in sick just to stay out an extra day. All that good stuff. I mean, we all did it. When you love what you do, these are the things that you do to make it work sometimes. So it's a beautiful
Right.
thing. So I have to ask you, you fished Montauk before?
I have.
What do you think of
Yeah, I
Montauk?
fished it in 2014
Okay.
and 2015.
Okay, that's good. You
Yeah,
fished
those
some-
are the first 2 times I fished it.
Very good. So you didn't have a bad time then. Those teen years weren't that bad. You hunted them enough you can get
No,
them.
a lot of small fish, but it was in the fall. Both times were in the fall, so it was
Okay.
you know, epic blitzes. You know, beautiful way. I mean, I love the scenery. The scenery is just
The best.
you know, it's so striper-esque.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
I mean, if you want to paint a striper picture, it's harder to paint than anything else. Montauk's it. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, that's just
Did you
that's the
get
vibe.
did you get to travel there in your Jeep in that year and a half? Was that the time? No.
Yep.
It was.
Well,
Oh,
no,
Oh.
that was before that.
okay.
I
That's
was
all right.
still married then.
Gotcha, buddy. Yeah. So going back to the Jeep, you know, you traveled. I asked you when you did this, if you had done that then, bro, and you went on and you videotaped everything and you had a YouTube channel, again, you would have been, like I told you then, you would have been one of the first. You'd have 1 million subscribers, and I don't think we'd be here tonight.
Yeah.
Nobody would know who Roy Leyva is
Nah, we would.
from the
all
fishing
good.
community, you know? But I know that that's like many people's dream, dude. And that dream can only be achieved when you're young, because when you're older like me, 3 hours after driving to Montauk, I don't want to sleep in my truck. I want a warm room with a bed and shower. So now when I go, I break it up sometimes. Roy, I'll go out there for 3 nights. And sometimes it depends what I can afford. I'll do the first night in the parking lot. Then I'll shoot over for 2. But a lot of times I'll do just 1 night. So I can rest good, take a nice hot shower, and then leave in the morning. That's how I do it a lot. Because Montauk has become very, very expensive out there, dude. So it's tough on the fisherman, on the average Joe.
I don't call that getting older. I call it getting wiser.
Yeah, there you go. It is. It is.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
I know the tides.
Yeah, right.
I use the first night to figure it all out.
That's
and
it.
then the next 2 days I rest when I can and I fish when I know I should. So it's getting wiser, not older.
Yeah. Bill Jacobs says, I sleep in my truck. Like most of us, definitely, Bill, we sleep in our trucks. But, Bill, you got a gorgeous RV. He's got a gorgeous RV that's axle ready. You know, it's been lifted. It gets to go on the beach. I mean, a beautiful machine. I walked in it for the first time a few weeks ago. I was up in Montauk. And I went inside. Beautiful, beautiful. It's got like a separation, a door for a bedroom. It's beautiful. So, you know.
That's awesome.
Go ahead, Anna. What were you going to say?
Oh, John Francisconi saying, I hope that's not an active bee's nest above Roy's right shoulder.
There you go.
Look at that.
Yeah, I see it. I see it. That's right.
Was it live at one time?
I collect those bald-faced hornet hives.
Wow. Oh, cool, dude.
Yeah, I go out and collect them in the fall.
Oh, very cool. We had hornets over here.
They're pretty cool. I mean, they look great. I have them everywhere hanging in the apartment.
Wow.
Look at that.
Very cool. Well, I didn't know that.
I'd be scared to go near those.
Yeah, my wife is, forget it, bro. There's a roach over there.
There's no more bees in it. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
All the wasps, they've all died. So the queen, so what happens is the queens leave. They're the only ones that survive the year. They'll survive the winter.
Right.
They leave, they go hide, they survive, the hive dies.
Wow.
And then it gets raided by animals and they eat all the pupa and the dead bees and stuff. So I go out while there's still some bees left in it, but most of the queens or all the queens are gone. I get them and then pack them up. I let them dry out for a couple of months. And then I hang them up here and there. I give some away and some I sell. I mean, teachers like them. People put them on their front porches. They got wraparound porches because they say it keeps the yellow jackets from making, nests. Gotcha. So, I mean, there's a market. I mean, people sell them on eBay for over $500.
Wow. So I got to tell you something right now. You just made a light bulb go off for me. So this week is not going to be on fish. We're going to be talking about bees this week with Roy Leyva. As you can see, a professional there. He's got one hive up on his left corner if you're watching the screen right now. But I have to tell you something. You did make a light bulb go off because I've heard that, they do die off in the winter. But because now you're telling me that the queen is alive, a lot of people say, yeah, sometimes they return to the nest. No, they don't return. No. The queen returns to the nest. Is that true?
Yeah.
No, she doesn't even.
Wow.
Nope, she leaves. She'll get into like logs or something.
Stick to fishing.
She'll spend the winter. Create more and more wasps.
Oh, there he goes. He's back.
Because they start off tiny.
Roy, we were just out.
Get as big as that.
We lost you for 30 seconds. Nothing.
There was no sound.
No sound.
I don't know if
so
something
start that
was
story
pressed.
again. So it started with a little bee and she was a baby. And then what happened?
So
Go back.
So what happens,
Rewind.
the queen leaves the hive in the fall.
Yeah.
She leaves it. She's pregnant, right?
Yes.
And she goes and hibernates. She's the only one that can hibernate through the winter.
Right.
And then in the spring, she starts to build a hive herself and lays the eggs that she has inside her that are already, she's pregnant. And those become her worker bees. And as she lays more eggs and they fertilize her, the hive gets bigger and bigger and bigger and they start to grow. So inside, if I cut that open, there's all these round honeycombs in it. They
Right.
start smaller and they get bigger, bigger and bigger. And as the hive gets bigger, all the inside they build around it.
It's amazing.
So it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, buddy.
And it's all out of paper. Like I've got one in the other room that's red, white, and blue. And I looked around and there's this red, white, and blue houses. So they were chewing the wood off of those houses, making the paper. They take wood in their saliva to make that paper. It's like paper mache.
Wow.
And they make that. But you can see they were taking it off the blue, red, and white house. It's pretty cool.
Pretty cool, bro, right?
To see.
Wow.
Amazing. Pretty cool is right. Love it. Good one. All right. Let's get back to fishing now, Roy, please. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm
Luke is
kidding.
saying, Roy, man of all traits. Off the
Definitely.
map, fishing and gathering.
Well, that's it,
Very
man.
cool.
You know what it is? When you're good at something, really good at something, there's good behind that. And what do I mean? You're good at other things. It's just, that's your credit, bro. You're good at something. You're a creative guy, I could say like that. And I have to say that I like doing things, right, honey? Do you consider me
You
creative, or do you want to punch me in the face right now?
You're creative.
Yeah, I am. I like that.
Definitely.
Without a doubt. But Roy, all I
Yes,
can
thank-
say is this isn't over, but I just want to say thank you for coming to the show tonight. It's not over. I'm just saying thank you for
No, thank
coming.
you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
this is great. So I see a picture of you. You look like you're 12 here. And what kind of fish is that? And what are you doing there?
So that's
Where
a
are
yellow
you?
perch.
That's a what?
That was a world record.
No.
That was a world record into some little girl broke it a couple years back out of like Wisconsin or something like that.
Really?
It's an ice fishing world record for yellow perch.
Smoking, man. We
Yeah.
got those here in the river over here by us. We catch them, but nothing that big, no doubt. I didn't know that they're like that. Okay, I just got to say something. Stop this for 1 second.
Oh, man.
Bill
Thanks,
Jacob.
Bill.
What can I say? The Montauk Surfcasters Association president. You have been so good to me, Bill. You and Bill Wetzel just have been great to me. Thank you so much. That puts us over the $4,000 mark, guys. We're getting there. I'm hoping to make that $5,000 prize by October 1st. I'm very excited. It's every donation you guys have ever made to me. I have not taken out the money, and it's just been gathering. So we got another $1,000 to go. I'm really, this is touching. Bill, thank you so much, brother. I hope you can make that
Thank
fishing
you.
trip to Maine. Not this weekend, not this Tuesday, the next Tuesday after. If you want, you can share my room with me. I'll even give you the bed now, brother. I'll sleep on the floor. Don't worry about it. I'll bring my blow-up mattress. Guys, thank you so much. We do take donations. This is how we keep this channel alive. It helps me in every way, as you can see. When the money reaches $5,000, that's when I get it, and that's when it goes up as the first prize for the Montauk Challenge. Bill, thank you again very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I don't know what to tell you. Thanks so much, man, and it's great. And we got to go fishing, finally. But thanks again, Bill. Roy, do you know Bill? Do you know Bill Jacob?
I think I do.
Well, let me
I'm
tell
really
you.
bad with names.
That's okay. Let me tell you a little bit about Bill. Bill is a legend in Montauk. He's the guy that's known to walk on False Bar all the way to Shagwan, which is quite a ways, and then come back all in the same night. He's been fishing there for years. He knows all the sandbars there, how to get out there and how to fish the fish correctly. It's been a little slower than usual the last few years, but great fisherman. If you look at his Instagram, guys, you'll see all the big fish. The guy is just a hunter. People think, oh, yeah, he caught a 60-pounder because the fish existed then. No, he caught a 60-pounder because that year he went out 200 nights. And out of the 200 nights, he got 160-pounder. That's how you get these fish. You got to grind, guys. Grind is a big, big part of the game. Can you agree with me, Roy? And if you want to talk a little bit
yes,
about the
definitely.
grind, because it's so important.
Definitely. I mean, I'm one of those advocates about grinding and going out. Time in the water is your best teacher. I mean, there's no better teacher. You can go out to the seminars. You can get all the tide charts. You can read all the moon tides. You can dip in on all that. Unless you get out on the water, it just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Roy,
I mean,
also.
I think.
Go ahead.
No,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No. You go.
I was just going to say that, I think that the 10% of anglers catch 90% of the fish is a true statement, right? You have these guys, it's 10% of the 90. But out of that 90, some of those can become 10% because there's always people coming new into the game, right?
Right.
And I think it takes a special person to be a really great angler, to be up here, right?
Right.
To be that guy, you have to be willing to sacrifice a lot because this doesn't come easy. You can get lucky one night, but you can't be lucky a whole entire career, right?
Right.
And,
Thank you, Roy.
in seasons, it's hard enough. The first season might be easy, but doing it a second year or a third year, that's even harder because this takes, every night, every tide. You got to break it apart. You got to figure out them fish because they're not going to be there all the time. So you got to know when they're gone and when they're there. And the only way you're going to find all that is by going and putting the time in. And it is the best teacher there is.
Absolutely. And you were saying earlier, again, I'm going to say it, know your area, and that comes from the grind. Knowing your areas, knowing that on the incoming tide, on a full moon, this is what it does. Knowing your area. I'm just guessing right now, but knowing your area. I know my Hudson River, buddy. I'll take you fishing here. I guarantee you I'll put you on some 11, 12-inch stripers. No doubt about it. And I guarantee.
You have to ask the why.
Yeah.
You always have to ask the why. Why are these fish here? Even if your answer to yourself is bogus, like even if you came up with this, you're like, oh, it's because there's mackerel here, even if that was your answer, it doesn't matter because now you have something to go by and something to look to duplicate and try to duplicate over and over again.
Absolutely.
Being like, all right, they're feeding on mackerel. That's why they're feeding like this. Or they're feeding on molting lobsters because it's not always fish. It could be crabs, it could be lobsters, it could be krill. I mean, bass feed on an immensely amount of different types of bait. And it's that why. Like a lot of guys go out, there's a blitz going on or the fish are there and they catch them and they go home and they're like, oh, it was a great day. And then they go back tomorrow and the fish aren't there. And they're like, oh, damn, they're gone. But if you don't ask the why were they there and try to figure that out, then you can never duplicate it, And a lot of people don't ask themselves why am I catching them? Why are they eating this color and not that color? Why are they eating this size bait? Why am I getting them on a jig brush?
Right.
Why won't they eat the top water? The whole, all of it. You have to ask.
The only thing that sucks about that why, I always ask the same fucking why question. Why am I not catching fish? That's my problem,
That's what Brian is saying. This season, it's why aren't these fish here?
Yeah,
That's
why aren't these fish here? Anybody got any good why questions? No, you're not going to win a free Poseidon lure or something. Relax. Just put up a question, why?
Oh, and Bill Jacobs says Roy knows him through Van Stall.
Ah, there you go. You might know him through Van Stall.
Through
Oh,
Van
yeah.
Stall.
Yeah, all right, yeah.
There you go. There you go. Good one.
Brooke Dorset is saying, ask Roy about the fishing story with the barrel on the beach. Tell that.
Ah, here we go. Let's go.
I've already told that story. Come on.
Really?
Yeah. That's living out there in YouTube world.
Nice.
Oh,
I got other ones.
All right, tell me another one.
my
Tell
whole
me
entire
another
life.
good story.
Pick another one.
Yeah, you got any striper
I'll
stories?
tell you one that's pretty funny, right?
Tell me.
So I am, even at a young age, fishing's always that was my number one, right? So everything first time I ever kissed a girl, every time I've been with a girl, it's always been fishing. Everything's always been fishing.
Fishing related.
And every girl that I ever met was like, our first date, it's fishing. My ex-wife, I left her on a boat for half a day to the point. I mean, she's a redheaded Jewish girl who ended up in the hospital that night because she burnt so bad because I left her on a little 10-foot dinghy while I went and chased stripers as the tide went out on some flats. But needless to say, my brother used to be a hairdresser, and I worked at a salon for a little while, and I met this girl, and she was a beautiful girl. Only I'm 5'6", and she was almost 7 feet tall. I mean,
Wow.
she did cruise. She was like solid. And I used to have this little tiny Nissan
I envy
Sentra.
you. I envy you, my brother.
And she's like, "Hey, I want to go fishing." And I'm like, "All right." So,
Perfect.
we go out, we make the plans, and we go down. And at the time, I used to be I had a commercial license. So I'm like,
Sure.
all right, I'll go down. I'll get some fish. I'll pay for this whole date, and I've got this little Nissan Sentra, and all my gear's in there.
I had
I've
one
got this
too.
Cooler the cooler takes up the whole entire back seat.
Yes.
Right. So we go out, and it was phenomenal fishing. Like, we had a great time, and I wanted to stay the night, but I'm not getting a hotel. Like, I was going to sleep in the Sentra. The only thing was that it was so packed with gear, and now the cooler's filled with fish. So I'm like, all right, you know what I'll do? I was like, I talked her into, we'll take the cooler out, we'll put it on the roof of the Sentra, right? And then we can put all the gear in the back seat, because the gear costs more than the fish do.
Sure.
So I iced them up really well, put all the gear, and we got in the trunk of the of the Sentra. So my brother was meeting me the next day with a friend, and they show up, and I can hear them outside, and they're like, "Where is he? Where is he?" And I'm parked on the beach, and I pull the thing, and the trunk pops open, and he looks at me, and he's got this like crazy looking face on him. And he said, you ever seen an anaconda when it's guarding its eggs? Well, I looked like the eggs in the middle, and this almost 6 foot tall girl was wrapped around me in the back of the Nissan Sentra. We took up the whole space. But yeah, that's another wild one.
The anaconda story. I love it. Good stuff. So tell me, you've been fishing out of the States at all?
Yeah, I've through working through Shimano and doing, we were 100% travel. So
right.
I got to fish a lot of different states, a lot of different places for a lot of things. And then in 2014, so I helped create Shimano's long cast system.
Okay.
A lot of the rod actions, all that stuff. We worked on a lot of that, worked on some of the Stella sizes and so on, and the long cast reels. So they asked me to take it on the road. So basically, I followed the migration for 6 months up the coast and then back down, fishing with a lot of different people and doing events and casting events and so on. So yeah, I've fished around a lot, especially in the U.S.
Sweet, brother. I love that. I love, I like chasing the migration. I did it that year. And I had a great time, and I chased them all the way up to Maine. Some of the best times I ever had, man, that I'll ever remember. That was a great trip, and I did it all by myself. Remember, hon? Mm-hmm. You hated me and didn't want to come with me, but anyway, that's okay.
I tell you, COVID was a great time to be out.
Yeah, that's when we
Good. I took a trip down to Florida during COVID.
Right.
And it was some of the best fishing I had. Some of the big industrial parks that normally had security that kicks you out of them had nobody. So you go and fish all these posted waters that were just magnificent during COVID without even seeing a soul. It was a good time. So I can only imagine, the beaches up here all along the coast, how well, that was.
Without a doubt.
So I envy you.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. And I envy you, bro. Mm-hmm. When I seen you with that turkey outfit that day, I was like, I want to be this fucking guy right here. He's the best. You're the best, bro. Let me tell you something. So I'm going to take a minute here, 30 seconds. We're going to talk about this week's giveaways. We got Billy D's custom wood plugs. We got a level sink, flat glide, 6 times VMC. So you got some good hooks on there. Beautiful stuff. We got Habs here, metal lip. Nice little light lure. I would say somewhere in the 1 7/8, 2 ounce range. But good stuff. These medium-sized lures, I don't know, most of my career fishing, I ended up doing the best on those. Even though I love big lures and I've caught fish with big lures, nothing like these medium-sized. And we got here the Rustic Lure Shack. These are all custom lures, guys. These guys care about the products they make. Wood, custom lures. You're getting 3 of them to 1 lucky winner. We'll do that at the end of the show. Right now, let's go back to Roy. Roy, finishing up slowly, but not very fast. So what's going on now? We asked you earlier, what have you been doing lately as far as any new fishing, anything like that?
Nothing. I mean, right now I'm just kind of pounding around here.
Yeah.
Last year, so I moved up here 3 years ago from South Carolina. During COVID, I lost my job at Shimano, but I stayed on as product development and tester.
Okay.
So I came up here. My fiance was living here in Northampton, so I moved to western part of Massachusetts. And there's a really good trout fishery, but there's a really amazing pike fishery out here.
Yeah, right.
And the first 2 years kind of spent kind of learning that ecosystem around the pike. And then last year during ice season, open water, obviously I've done a lot, but last year was the first ice season that I really targeted them. And I mean, I got some really big fish. It was quite the year. I can't complain.
Yeah.
So I've been doing some of that still, just kind of trying to, tie in little ends that I'm still questioning and new waters and so on, trying to pinpoint, to make it even better this upcoming ice season than the season now. So
maybe you could turn me on to some of that. We looked into some of these places you call. They have a tent set up for you, sleeping, everything in there. And I've heard of other places in Canada, such as actual cabins or log cabins, whatever they are. And basically you're in a warm room with a fireplace and you're pulling up these little caps. And there's a whole, you drill the ice hole right there. And you're done and you're fishing from your living room in your pajamas. How good is that? How good is that? I mean, really. Will, I didn't say hello earlier. Ladies and gentlemen, Will Walker, 401 Plugs. You can see him. He's always on the back of my chair. Will Walker makes some great product. I have one of his lures hanging right there, that blue one you see there with the Grateful Dead lightning bolt on there. So I don't use that. I like to see that. Will, thank you for all you do. 401 Plugs, guys. Check him out on Instagram. Thanks again, Will. Mr. Roy, I have to ask you something. What is like your favorite plug? Is it a bucktail, metal lip, needlefish? Tell me. Metal lip?
Metal lip Danny.
Why?
Metal lip Danny, man. I just, it's so seductive.
Huh.
In a striped bass's eyes, it's so seductive. Yes, it's so seductive because no matter that's my search plug, right? Because I fish a lot of the Cape. It's shallow water, a lot of rock. I mean, some places have rock. Anywhere in Massachusetts, you're gonna go from rock to sand. And if you're throwing a metal lip on the surface, if there is any bass there, they are going to show themselves. They're going to come up behind, and they're not always going to eat it, but at least they show themselves. And now you're like, all right, if they eat it, then you're on. You're good. You're throwing the right plug. But if they don't eat it and they're just swirling at it and following it, now you're like, oh, I got you. You just showed yourself.
Yeah.
Now I can go to a bucktail or soft plastic or whatever it is and figure out what you want, So for me, it's just such a great, seductive plug, but then it's visual. When the fish eats it, it's visual.
Yeah, right.
They come up, they suck it in, or they hit it really hard, and the tail comes out of the water, and they almost like say hello to you, and then they're off to the races. And I don't know, I'm just big metal lip Danny guy.
Yeah.
Like, that's just me.
Metal lips are nice, and I feel that, getting a couple of feet underneath, depending on that bend, they are nice swimming lures, man. They really are. Put a nice tail, flag, whatever you want to call it, on the end of them. Gorgeous.
And bass do not ignore them. You can throw a bucktail or something else, and they might look at it, but they won't follow it. If they are there, they will follow a metal lip or come up to it.
Right.
They will show themselves.
Yeah, Dame Z
At least
says,
in the areas I fish mostly.
Dame Z says, I don't drink enough for ice fishing, LOL. Yeah. Good stuff, buddy.
Neither do I.
Way to go, buddy. He was there yesterday at the shindig. We sat down with Dom, and we were getting each other on jokes, and he would say, I got you. And I went, yeah, I got you now. But we had a good time yesterday. Way to go, Dom. and to
Yeah,
Tim,
he says
his buddy.
His ADD is too strong.
Yeah, to sit that long. Yeah, no
Well, we've
doubt
got
about
some really good striper, like ice fishing striper fisheries up here too. So
Oh yeah.
it. Yeah,
that's always, you know,
An
yeah,
option.
yeah, yeah.
if it
yeah.
gets cold enough and the if rivers freeze, you can target stripers and you
Right,
get
right.
20, 30-pound fish through a hole.
Sweet, bro.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Sweet. Let me
Pretty
tell
wild.
you, that New England area, especially up there in the Cape Elizabeth area, bro, they kill the fish up there. Those guys kill the fish. I see them posting. I know where they live, and I go, well, I know where they're fishing. But I would never reveal their names or anything like that. I respect people because it's tough, Roy. With the internet around, you show a spot on the
It is,
daytime,
man.
you're going to have a lot of guys there the next day. And even if nobody knows that you did it, it's kind of a bad feeling because now when you show up, it isn't so funny anymore. You know, now you got a lot of people
Right.
there, and you're not going to get that enjoyment or the chance that you had of catching the big fish. Sure, if there's 50 guys fishing there, somebody's going to catch a big fish. I can guarantee it isn't going to be you this time. So keep your mouth shut. Try to keep that pace, you know, as quiet as you can. You know what I would do, Roy? In the winter times, I like to go fishing for stripers. I know where there's holdovers here in the East River. There's holdover. You got to know the areas, though, where these fish show up. And I got to tell you, my videos, you'll see them. They always start out, here we are. We're in Jersey right now. Nobody knows where you're fishing at night. You can't see nothing. But so people are
Right.
watching me, and you get two fishermen that call you. Two. One of them is like, yo, man, where you getting in Jersey? What river? Come on, give it up. I'm sorry to say, if you called me, you're the retard. And then there's the other guy that calls you and goes, yo, you freaking asshole. What do you think, I'm stupid? Where you catching those fish? Because you ain't catching them in Jersey. So those are the two fishermen that I get. The guy that knows and the guy that, well, I'm sorry, you don't know, you know. But most of the guys that are here on my channel, they're exceptionally good fishermen. These guys really work hard for the fish. I fish with a lot of these guys on here. I love getting together with the subscribers. And I don't care who you are fishing. Everybody fishes a little different. And I always like to listen and pick up ideas because the ideas that I use today are ideas that I've learned over my life, not because I made them up, because I've listened to people. And you ask the why question to them, and a lot of people have good responses, especially if they know the areas. No doubt. So we're getting a little late in the show here. I did start a little later. Roy, I got to tell you this. I hope this isn't going to be the last time you're on. This is only touching the surface with you. We can get so much more technical out there and talk about fish because I love the way you talked earlier and you said, you know, if you know your area and you know this and you know that, you're going to lift up your odds for catching a fish. And it's so true. And I want to learn more of that technical stuff. I know people like it, but I want you back on the show. If you want to stand by, we're going to do the giveaway right now, and then we'll get right back to you for our final goodbyes. But ladies and gentlemen, once again, we're going to go over to the giveaways. And here you heard Mr. Leyva, right, honey?
Yes.
Mr. Leyva talking earlier about the Rustic Lure Shack lure, which is a Danny, nice medium-sized plug. I think this one is about, I don't know, 2 ounces to 2 1/4 ounces. But nice plugs. These plugs catch fish. Not that, just what he said, the metal lips. I love metal lips myself. I have here also a Habs. This is somewhere in the 1.5, 2 area, but beautiful plugs. Metal lips know how to swim. And the needlefish, I would say you have to be more an advanced fisherman. If you're going out and you're buying plugs, don't buy needlefish as your first plug. This is no good for you. This is only works for people that know their fishing game because needlefish you can do quite a different. You can fish with them quite a different ways. I know Charlie the Wolf of Rhode Island loved using needlefish in current. He used to throw it out there, Roy, and just used to let it drift. And boom, he would get a hit. You know, and then there's the other way that I like to fish them. I like to retrieve these things very, very slow. And every once in a while, just give it a little tap. And that's the way I fish them now. How would you fish this, Roy? You tell me.
So I fish needles quite a few different ways. One of my favorites and one of the most probably successful ways to fish it for me is shaking them. Just a very steady retrieve, and then you shake the hell out of them with the rod tip. And then, you go right back to a steady retrieve again. That always seems to work for me in a lot of the places that I fish them.
There you go. I love that, Roy. See, every time I hear something new, I've seen people fish needles in different ways. And I want to mention to you, Roy, that the Wolf of Rhode Island, Charlie, he passed away last year. As a young man, earlier 40s or middle 40s. He wasn't called the Wolf of Rhode Island for no reason. Commercial fisherman on the boats. He was catching 60s off of Block Island on a string. Like, I would see him posting repetitively. Release all the fish. He also chartered the boat. He was a great fisherman, knew his area in Narragansett. And let me tell you a little story about him. He used to go out, right? So he used to go with his truck, find the fish, and then realize that people in the area knew Charlie, knew he was a good fisherman. He was winning tournaments. That's why he hated winning them. He said, I would win the tournaments, not everybody knows. And they would look for him in Narragansett. They would look for him down the side streets where in the end you would park. They would look for his truck. And when they would see it, okay, let's go fishing. This is where the fish are. So what did Charlie do? He upped them one better. He had his wife drive him to the spot, drop him off, and he would say, come back here in 2 hours. 2 hours later, she would come back. He was loaded with fish or caught fish that night. But he was a great fisherman. I went out with him. He was very, very strict with me. Eric, what are you doing? Come on, let's go. He hugged those rocks as a 40-year-old guy like he was an Olympic sprinter going over, what do you call those things you jump over, honey?
The hurdles?
The hurdles.
Hurdles?
He was freaking great, man. But, he explained a lot of things to me, and they worked. They worked. I remember going to a spot with him, and he goes, don't worry, they'll be here in about 15 minutes. I'm like, what's this guy talking about? I'm throwing out my glider. He's telling me, dude, they're not here yet. Wait. And finally, 15 minutes later, there they were. He caught a ton of fish over me. He knew what he was doing. But what I wanted to tell you was that his sister is out in the audience representing Charlie every week practically. She's here. And that's Big Sis of Wolf, if you see her out there. Thank you for coming to the show, and thank you for supporting us, Big Sis Wolf, Big Sis of Wolf. He was a great guy, Charlie, and we'll never forget him. So right now we're going to go over to the giveaways. Did we do the giveaways yet?
No, you were just showing them.
Okay,
so now we're going to pick a name.
Yeah, we're going to pick a name. Here we go.
And the drawing, and Roy's going to hang out while we do this.
1, 2, and 3. Spin it.
And 3.
And the winner is... Jeff the Chef Caputo. Let's see if he's out there. We give him the 10-second countdown. We'll give him the 10-second countdown. Jeff, if you're out there, good luck. 10, 9. He was there. He was the chef at the Bill Wetzel thing going on yesterday. It was great. He cooked up. He's the best. That guy can cook like nobody else.
So hard. He was so
10,
sad when it was
9,
raining.
8.
Come on, Jeff.
7. Come on, Jeff. Let's go. I'm giving you a chance here. I want a free rib next year. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. I'm sorry, Jeff. He's coming down, brother. 1. That's all right. Jeff's here weekly. We're going to spin that again. Jeff, no matter what, you're a good guy. God bless. Here we go. Next. And spin it.
Brooklyn Fishers.
Yep. Brooklyn Fishers. You got it, honey. Brooklyn Fishers, if you're out there, here we go.
That's Dwayne. We saw Dwayne yesterday.
There he is. Yeah, Dwayne. Dwayne, you are the man. Dwayne is a great fisherman. I went fishing with him in Montauk. Me, Brian, Hamlet Wood. Bill Jacobs was down there that weekend.
Hey.
Man, that was great. Way to go, Dwayne. You are the man, brother. Say hello to the wife and definitely those lovely kids of yours. I don't like saying any kids' names online, but thank you so much for coming to the show. Let's go back to Roy for a few minutes. Roy, anybody else out there that you would like to say hello to or thank you to?
No.
Okay, there you go. That's always the best way.
No, I'm joking. No,
That's
actually, my fiance Brooke. I will say hi to her because I know she's watching from the other room.
Ah, that's so nice.
Hi, Brooke.
Hi, Brooke. How you doing,
that's
honey?
me.
What a good wife. Good future
Fiancé.
wife. Fiance, that's right.
Very nice.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Man, I was so excited when you said yes. That was so cool. But we'll get you on again.
I was excited when you asked.
Ah, man. Thanks so much, brother. That
Aw.
means a lot. God bless on that one.
Thank you so much
No
for
doubt.
coming on and sharing
Thank
a bit
you.
of your
Thank you. It was a
adventures.
pleasure.
Yep.
Very fun.
Very
Thanks.
fun. Maybe next time you
Beautiful.
come live in studio, bring your wife. We'll go out to dinner, all of us, and then we'll come here. We'll have a great show. She'll
Sounds
be in
good to me.
studio watching you.
Very nice.
Great. Guys, thanks everybody for coming out weekly. Thank you for supporting me. Please help out, become a member. It's $3 a month. YouTube gets a dollar of that. $2 goes into the fund, that beautiful fund that makes up the first prize. I saved from the beginning since the first day I got monetized 17 years ago. I'm making my way. No, I'm just kidding. Didn't take that long. Couple of years, 2.5. But here we go. Let's go. Anything else, honey?
That's it.
Roy, thanks
See
again,
you next
buddy.
time. Thank you, Roy.
See everybody.
Thank you.
Good
All
night.
right,
Peace
here we
out,
go.
everybody. Woohoo!
Let's go, baby. Thanks, Roy.
We gotta eat.
Yeah, we got to eat. I'm hungry, man. Let's do a dance and then we'll go eat. Hey, just to let you know, I forgot to mention, also I got a pin that you're going to be getting there that from the Montauk Striper Challenge. I got an extra one, so that goes in the package too. Let's go.